Hello, listener, and welcome to Book 5, Chapter 14 of Bite-Sized Tales, the audio flash fiction podcast. In today's story, we have a guest author once again. Pete brings us a story of a brave man's last stand. Sunset. Written by Pete, read by Chris Hussey. As the autumn sun painted the horizon gold, orange, pink, and most ominously red, Helgi felt beads of icy sweat trickle down his back. A foreboding told him he wouldn't see the dawn. Men die, cattle die, you yourself are mortal, he recited to himself in a murmur. Thorstein had come to him. The harvest is in. The winter is not here yet, he had said. There's time before the ice comes. Time for a raiding voyage. Time for treasure, for gold, silver, and jewels. Sail with me, he had said. We'll return rich, he had said. Home before the first snow, back with riches, honor, and glory. Just what you need to prove yourself. Earn word fame, and that marriage you dream of is assured, he had said. They had sailed and raided. There had been riches. There would also have been glory and renown. There was not so much silver, as Thorstein had said, nor was there as much fame. Would that they had sailed home with what they had, but they had seen that mound on the headlands as they anchored for the night, as was considered prudent in unknown waters. Helgi wished they had trusted to luck and sailed on through the long autumn night. As the setting sun had stained the clouds, giving a red cast to the small rocky island, flashes of blue flame had flickered upon the mound. Those blue flickers had fired Thorstein's greed, and led him to this. He looked at the cave wall where he'd carved runes, just a simple inscription. Here lies Helgi. He was no poet to compose a better epitaph. He picked up the sea-axe blade he'd broken carving them, and struck sparks from it with a flint to light the tinder at the heart of the pitiful pile of driftwood and broken planking from his boat in the cave mouth. As he huddled by the fire, he thought mournfully of fair Thordis. Perhaps not quite the prettiest young woman in the quarter, but she was easily the kindest. Now she would grace another man's longhouse. He wondered what story the others would tell of that fateful night. They might tell of Thorstein's greed on seeing the blue light playing across the top of the old mounds on the island. Would they tell her of the argument he had had with Thorstein, an argument that had come close to bloodshed? As a compromise solution to head off trouble before blades were drawn, they had agreed the ship wouldn't stay at anchor, and they would take a small boat ashore. Thorstein, eager for easy riches, had a shovel with him as he climbed down into the boat. He shuddered as he recalled that scream and then the sudden crunch as Thorstein's headless body had come plummeting down from the cliffs above and shattering the planks of the small boat on the beach that he was guarding. He doubted they'd say that after hearing a blood-curdling scream, they had set sail into the night without even checking for survivors. He muttered a fervent wish Thordis wouldn't wed one of them. He had seen no sign of whatever creature had torn Thorstein's head off and cast his body at their boat. It took no great wisdom to understand what you would find inside a barrow, though. Thorstein had been adamant that the lights that had flickered across the turf of the roof was a sign of hidden wealth. Helgi had argued a curse or an aptranga was more likely. Maybe they had both been right. For Thorstein, even in death, had held on to a strange sword, richly decorated in gold and garnet, with a ring set in the pommel. After dawn, Helgi had carried the body and the sword up to the barrow, and left them both directly outside the hole Thorstein had opened in the mound. Over the crackle of the fire he heard the crunch of heavy footfalls on the beach outside his cave. With a sigh he rose, taking a firm grip on the haft of his axe. The swollen form of a man stood on the other side of the fire, firelight reflecting in his baleful gaze, the unsteady light fitfully illuminating skin turned as blue as hell's cold realm. Helgi's mouth was dry, his brain too numb for last words. No witty comment, no brave defiance. As the figure moved forwards, he resignedly readied his axe for a fight he knew he wouldn't win. Pete didn't leave an author's note for this, but I'm going to say that I actually enjoyed the challenge of reading the story and just the almost poetic nature of how it is written. Um, it's just kind of a nice, unique approach and something a little bit different. And I really appreciate it. So much thanks to Pete for submitting, and hope you all enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. This chapter of Bite-Sized Tales has been brought to you under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 4.0 International License. Intro and outro music is Fantasy Motion by Alexander Nakarada, provided under a Creative Commons 4.0 license. If you've enjoyed what you've heard today, we greatly appreciate reviews and recommendations to your friends. For more information about our authors, please visit bitesizedtales.com or follow us on Instagram at bite_size_tales or on Blue Sky at bitesizedtales.bsky.social. We look forward to reading to you next time.